Hi everybody, welcome to Colouring Down Under with Girly Pants. Just getting set up. One of these days I'll get the hang of this, but today we're working in my lap because that's going to be what's easiest. So it makes it a little hard for me to see what's on the screen, but we'll see how we go. Just waiting to see if we can get it on the screen. Bop, bop, bop. Okay, the computer's a little bit behind. It still says I'm offline. So we'll just give it a minute. But welcome to the channel anyway. And today I want to have a look. Actually, before we get on to that, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I hope you enjoy your time here. Of course, I'm in Australia, so it's around lunchtime here for us. So we're just trying to get to the live stream part of it, if we can. Oh, where am I? Okay, it says there's one waiting. So, hello if somebody's waiting. I'm sorry I can't see what's happening just yet. Keeps telling me I'm offline. This is interesting. Oh, you gotta love the internet, haven't you? Let's try again. Because you'd think that it would be showing me by now, but no. Oh, hello girls, I can see something moving on the phone screen. I just haven't found myself on the computer. So I can't actually read the phone screen from where I am. I can just see enough of it to see my lap. Oh, we'll try searching again. We'll see if it comes up again. Dun, 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 dun. What do we call it? Colour and chat and COLOUR and chat. Shading and black magic. So we're going to do the black magic thing pretty much straight away. We're going to jump in, start looking at that because it's just heaps of fun, and then we can get on to shading. Maybe we should do it the other way. Yeah, okay, we'll do it the other way. So you'll have to wait for the exciting bit. Alrighty, so we're going to put this away for a second, and we'll come back and look at black magic in 2 seconds, because that's kind of fun. And now I've got no spot in my chair to put my books. That was poor planning on my part. Ooh, they can go there if they don't fall down on me. Right. Let's grab... We're going to grab this book. I've been playing... Oh, I haven't even seen if I can see the screen. Today I've been playing with what colours we were going to use for our shading. And I am leaning towards the yellow just because it was the quickest. Hi Heather, hi Kathy, hi Laurie. Thank you all so much for being here. But we're going to have a quick chat today about basic shading. And I should have thought about which picture we were going to use before we started. But no, I'm not that efficient. But I did think to make a hot drink. Alright, we'll just use this page again because that's the page we've been picking on. And I want a clipboard. Ugh. Alrighty. Excuse all the spots on this paper. I've been using it as a backboard while I've been using my Sharpie. But we might as well mess this page up because it's already messed up. And we need a pen. Any pen will do. Alrighty. So we're going to talk about some basic shading today. And I still can't see the screen. So let's try that. That might be better. So there's a couple of types of lighting. You've got, this actually opens out into a big ruler. Right. So we've got a couple of types of lighting. Actually, I liked it as a short one. That's better. Okay. So you've got your dispersed lighting or your direct lighting where all the light's going to come down from one area. And so all the light's going to head down from one area. So if you had, say, for example, a sphere here, it might not even be a sphere, it might just be a rock. So all the light is going to hit everything on that side. So we line our ruler up with our light, we can say that everything in the top half of this is going to be lit. So we're going to see some sort of light from here all the way around to here. So all this side's going to be lit. Now, that's great and all, because a lot of artists talk about painting the light. And yeah, painting the light I think is a little bit misleading, because what we do to one side, it's kind of like mathematics. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So, or science or any of those things where they have formulas. So there is a little bit of a formula to it. So what we do to one side, we must do to the other. So if we put all the light on this side, then we must put shadow from here, from this point here to this point here, there'll be some sort of shadow. And I prefer to think of colouring and drawing as painting the shadows. So that's just the way I look at it, because everyone can paint the light. If you're doing flat colouring, you are painting the light. It's just that it's all washed out because you've not put in any shadow. So you've got your direct light, and this can apply to, direct light can apply to sunlight, because let's face it, the sun's way bigger than the earth, and so when you're outside, the sun can seem to put all the light down from the one angle. Then you've got spotlight. So if you had, so for example, this was your little spotlight. Now, depending on which way this little spotlight's pointing, it could throw light in several directions. If I can get this ruler on the page. So with the spotlight, you could get light coming in these sorts of directions, because but what will happen is your shadows will change. So if you had a circle here, for example, your light's basically, you can say, well, your light's coming from here and maybe to there. So between this point here and that point there might be lit. But by the time your circle gets all the way over to here, then you look at your light again, and you can say that from there to there is lit. And you can get different types of spotlighting effects where the shading will change on your object. And a reasonable example would be to say, if you had the sunshine out here, sun's out here glowing away, and you're inside your house, and there's a wall, you have a tiny little window somewhere at the top, and as that light comes down, it will filter down and out. So things that are around the room might have different lighting on them as your light comes through this window and filters the light. But the important thing to remember about light, even though we've got like the spotlight effect or the filtered light effect, is light all travels in a straight line. So if you have like a spotlighty type thing here, and it was just pointing direct at something, and didn't have like a bendy lens on it or anything, all the light would just travel in one straight line. But what happens is once light hits something, say it was to land there, then it will bounce off and reflect onto things. So you've got your direct light and then you've got your reflected light. So if it was to bounce on something that was, I don't know, blue, it will actually bounce a blue colour back off. So the only light we're going to worry about today, because reflected light's kind of a bit funny to work with, except for if you have a ball, or a sphere. So if you had a sphere on your table here and your light was coming down, where the light hits the table, even in shadow, there's still some light back here. So where the light hits the table, it's going to throw a little bit of reflected light here. So it's just a lighter patch in your shadow. And down at the bottom, of course, there's no light. So that's your occlusion shadow. But we're going to just look at straight light today. And we're going to have a play with some colour. I'm going to have a look at my little trick, which I call black magic. So let's get on with that. But that's some just really basic ideas of shading, so that you know that from whatever you do to one side, do to the other. So if one side's really light, then the chances are the other side's going to have to be really dark. Now, I did a swatch earlier because I wanted to prepare just a little bit. I did sit and swatch out these few colours earlier. Now, my preference is always pretty much aqua. I do like the idea of the purple, and I love the idea of maroon. But I think yellow's going to be our fastest, might not be our most impressive. Or maybe orange, because orange is just the one next step up from the yellow. But yellow certainly went down the fastest on the paper. So, we think about colours in a minute, and you can even choose a colour if you like. But I just did swatch some out just so I could see what was going to work faster. Now, let's get into it. I want to show you a little thing I call black magic. Look, see, someone told me to get flags. They work. So we should be able to find the page easy enough. Now, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to ask you a question. Because I'm hoping this works, because earlier the camera was flashing out. If I put that, maybe a little bit out further. Let's see. Oh, helps if I can see the TV screen, doesn't it? Okay. It's a little bit flashed out. We might try killing the top light, see if that helps. It's just because it's a black background. Okay. Does this top bit, we could probably zoom out a fraction more. Or maybe if the phone will let me. Too far. Maybe about there. Yep, about there. That looks alright. Okay. So, think about it seriously as you're looking at that image on the screen. Does any of that pop out of the screen at you? Does it look like it's coming off the page? Be honest, don't go blowing wind up my skirt, or we won't get anywhere. 10 minutes. All right, Heather, do you want to have a quick look at the next bit just before you go? Hey, Robin. Welcome aboard, Robin. We're looking at black magic. So this is looking at the top section of the page to see if it jumps off the page at you at all. And then we're going to walk all the way down to the bottom of the page, if I can line it up on the camera. What about that there now? Does any of that jump off the page at you now? Can you actually see the difference? Hi, Tara. So that's where those yellow balls and stuff are jumping off the page, and the branches should jump off the page as well. That's what I'm referring to as black magic. Because there's actually something, your brain actually works in funny ways. Even the pine cone in the middle, I can move it around, even the pine cone in the middle should jump off the page a little. Now, with art, your brain plays a lot of tricks on you. Now, one of them is that when your brain detects shadows in anything, it automatically adds dimension. So, yeah, okay, we can see that the yellow balls are shaded. That's all well and good. Because if we go back up to the top page of the page, where I haven't finished working, you can see that, yep, the yellow balls are shaded, and they're shaded no differently to the ones at the bottom of the page. So, that's great and all. It gives it, a reasonable amount of dimension. But what happens is when your brain detects shadow, even if your eyes can't see it or notice it straight away, your brain automatically goes, oh, there's depth there, and it adds the extra depth. And that's why those balls at the bottom of the page pop off the page. The only thing I did different to the ones at the bottom of the page compared to the ones at the top of the page is I put a little tiny black line on the black paper under everything that was underneath. So just like that before where I showed you all the under areas, every little thing, like every little line, because I've got the lights coming from the top down, so every line that comes underneath something has a black line on the black paper. Hi, Tara Lee. And that's why I call it black magic. Just because it's that little bit, that tiny little trick that you can't actually see unless you're really looking for it, but your brain automatically goes, oh, it's 3D. It's got depth. And the funniest thing I think I saw when I realised, because I thought it was pretty effective when I did it, but I didn't realise just how effective it was until I showed this to a doctor, because I was in hospital at the time, and showed it to a doctor, and he kept flipping the page, and he's looking at the back of the page, and then he's looking at the front of the page. He was looking for some sort of embossing. He was trying to work out why it was standing off the page. And it's just that tiny little black, and your brain automatically goes, oh, that's a shadow, and adds depth, even though your eyes can't see it. Thanks, Tara. So we can use this technique in several places. And granted, there's not very many black pages that we work on, but we can use it in several places. I have an example somewhere handy. One place we can use it, oh sorry, that's decorative designs. It was just a little book that I came across one day. So we're going to have a look at this one. This is take 5. Now I've got a picture in here that I'm not finished. But, oh, this book's a bit long for my lab. Where is it? So you could use that same effect that we used on the wattle flowers on things like the sides of these rocks where you've got a lot of black bold lines, and you can make them pop off the page. So, that's another way of using the black on black just to help give it a lift. Adds a bit of extra dimension. Alrighty. Let's see, what else have we got? Ugh. Oh, something just fell down. I don't know what it was. Can't have been too important, I hope. Oh, hang on, it might have been. It might have been my Prismas. Oh, how embarrassment. I'm going to have to try and get them. So I picked this book up the other day. Yep, everything's leaping at me now because I've got it all over the joint. I picked this book up the other day, the Selection Colouring book by Kira Cass. And for those in Australia, QBD bookstores are having a sale. I can't even get that on camera. QBD's bookstore was having a sale. Their Book Frenzy, it was $5. So if you all wouldn't mind just excusing me for 2 seconds, I'm going to try and hide the camera for a second, because I'm pretty sure that was my Prisma pencil case that hit the floor. But don't worry, it's pretty soft and it's pretty safe. It didn't hit with a thud or anything. So just give me 2 seconds. I'll see if I can hide the camera, save you from seeing my rear end. Where did it? Oh, I might get it. I might be able to get it with the grab. Well, that didn't help. You stay there for a minute. Oh. No, hang on. I'm going to have to move everything. Okay, light's falling. Ha. Okay. Oh, brother. Come here. Okie dokie. So much for the best laid plans. Right, bring the camera back around this way. Put the light back on the table. It fell down. And let's see how we go. Put that back on top because that's keeping glare off the screen. Alrighty. How's that? Heather, did you get to see the black magic bit, or do I need to show that again for you, darling? While I try to get set up. Oh, grab your stick and go back there. We need something on my lap. Okay, Heather, just in case you missed it. No, it's all good. I'll show you quickly. I just dropped the pencils and had to go and fetch them, so I moved all the camera and everything to get to them on the floor. Right. So come back over here, camera. Okie dokie. So if we have a quick look up the top of the page here. And waiting for it to focus. So just have a look at all these little balls here, Heather, and see if they jump off the page at you at all. Okay, and then we'll just see if we can't move down the bottom. And that's the difference. Thank you, Jemai. I was really happy with this one until I did the pink. I don't particularly like my pink doves. But I love the black magic, which is what's around all these balls at the bottom. That's why they stand out 3D compared to the ones at the top. And the ones at the top are coloured in exactly the same way. So, both coloured in exactly the same way. It's just the ones at the bottom have a little trick on there called Black Magic, and we're going to have a go at that today. And that's simply your brain playing tricks on you. Because all it is a tiny little line of black pencil underneath each of those drawings on the black paper, and the black pencil is just slightly darker than the paper itself. Excellent, Heather. I'm pleased you can see it, because that's what we're going to do. Right, so I have a book that I picked up at QBD for $5. It's the Selection Colouring In book. I picked this up last week. They were having a sale. It was a $5 frenzy, and of course I couldn't help myself. I had to stop and buy it for $5. Because, yeah, $5, that's not that much for a colouring in book. And that's about the price I like to pay. So, I figured I might zoom out a little bit. Zoom out, pinch in. Oh, why does YouTube do this to me? As soon as you zoom in, it doesn't let you zoom back out properly. Oh yeah, Heather, absolute bargain. I've bought most of my books. Not all of, but majority of them I've bought for $5 each, and I just sort of buy the odd one here and there when they're on sale. But I kind of see this page as being, remember velvet wallpaper? Is anyone here old enough to remember velvet or flocked wallpaper? Hey Anne, how are you, darling? So when I see this page, and I might try turning this top light back on now and see if it doesn't flash out. It just makes it easier on my eyes. So if you remember flocked wallpaper at all, that's what I think of when I see this page. So we had a colour palette. What colour should we go for, guys? Do you want to do yellow so that it's fast? Or do you want to do a different colour? I swatched out some colours earlier. These are the colours I swatched out earlier. Yellow was the fastest. Heather, you're only ahead of me by 4 years. I still think I'm older than you. Well, my body thinks it's older than you anyway. My brain says, come on, let's get up and do things. And my body goes, no way. No way, no how. And then if you get smart and you go, well, I don't care, I'm going to do it anyway, then your body puts you down. So it's all sorts of fun. So any particular colour preference, girls? Yellow was the fastest. Okay, if no one's picking a colour, we'll go with yellow because it's the fastest. Jamal, you like the purple? Well, Jamal says purple. We can try for purple. We're working with Prismacolors, Anne. Just because they're always faster than other pencils. Because our main focus today really is to do black magic. So we just need something to colour, that's all. That's it, Laurie. None of us are as old as we think we are. Well, none of us are as old as the years we've lived. I'm tempted to go yellow just so we can get through it. But, alright. We can try for purple. Purple's actually one of my least favourite colours in the Prismas. but I like a royal purple. So because this picture, I might just move the camera out a little bit, because that might help. Because this picture's like mirror image on both sides, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say that the light's coming straight down from the top, because that's just going to be, to me, it's going to be the simplest way to portray the shading, like the shading, and keep the mirrored sides correct. Because if you tried to come in from the side, then this is going to look different to that. It's going to look a bit hokey. So we'll start with purple. Okay. This is going to be tricky. So I'm just going to grab, all bar one of these purples is in the tin of 24, and we'll probably use a little bit of white. So now you don't have to be fussy about colours, everybody. I mean, I'm going to tell you what colours I'm using, but honestly, I just grabbed every purple in my kit. Okay, and this isn't my full kit. This is just my little carry-around kit that I can play with freely. So you don't have to use these colours exactly. You just, if you want purple, you just start grabbing a range of purples that work together. Swatch them out on a piece of paper. I mean, like, okay, for example, all of these purples are the same sort of dull purpley colour. Whereas this purple, which is a mulberry, it's more pink. You could still mix it with it if you wanted to. It's personal choice. But me, I'm just going to stick with all the same purples today. So, and that's all you do. You don't need to know the names of everything. But I will tell you the names anyway, just in case people think that knowing all the names is going to make a difference. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter what set of pencils you use, what brand they are. You just grab what you've got and keep blending until you're happy with the result. So, might help if I could read. Hang on, I need a light on my side. Hang on. We've got lilac. Oh, lilac 956. We've got alrighty. I think I need an eye transplant. Light, stay there. Please stay there just for a minute. Help me out. I've got Parma Violet, which is 1008. I've got Violet, which is 932. I've got Violet Blue. It looks like 933. And then I've got the white, which of course is 938. And don't mind me, I'm just throwing lighting around here so I can read things. Now stay there, Mr. Light. Right. So I've got these four, and I'm going to use a blender. Now, because I keep dropping pencil cases, give me 1 second, guys. I've just thought of something. Hang on. Just put them there for a second. This is my real set of Prismacolors. And I've got them in this nice big squishy case. It's actually huggable. Can't open it because it's right under the camera. Right side. Okay. There we go. Dun dun. Rightio. Get a small pencil case out. This is my real set of Prismas. Now, I don't know if you can see because I've moved the mouse and I can't see the screen. See this little bit of, it's actually a piece of wool. tied onto this loop. I've got a few of those throughout my pencil case. It's just all tied onto the loops. Because I'm a little bit anal and I'm a little bit forgetful. So what'll happen is if I was pulling all these pencils out here and playing with them, when I put them back, if these two loops were empty, I would panic and think I've lost something. And then I'd have to hunt for those two pencils. So what I've done is I've just tied a little piece of wool on there. It's not tied on there tight. I can just cut that off. It's tied on there tight enough that it won't come off on its own, but I can just pop the scissors under here and trim it off. And I've got a spare bit of wool in the back of the pencil case. And I just do that to any pencil hole where, see, like here, got 3 here in a row. So, I'll move it over a little bit more. So I've got 3 here in a row. And I just do that to let me know that those don't have pencils in them in the first place. But they're there because that's where the pinks and peaches start. Whereas on the next page over, that's where all the reds are. And then these ones at the front are all the ones we just saw were like my 150. And then these ones here are my spares. Like replacements for ones in there. But anyways, if I get this back in this pencil case and zip it up. Okay. Put that back on the floor. Because what I keep in the back of that, which is what I was after, in the back of it, I keep a spare, cheap pencil case. So nothing fancy, just a really cheap pencil case to keep all my little pencils in so that I don't lose them. Which one's this? That's violet. And that's a violet blue. And then that one goes in the middle. And we might, just for giggles, just in case we need to go a little bit darker, just for giggles, we'll throw an indigo. For giggles, we're just throwing an indigo blue in there, which is PC 901, because that could be handy if we need a little bit more depth on our shadow. And then I just have to work out what I did with my black pencil. Where is the black pencil? It's not in my lap. Oh, see? This is why I get anal. I get very persnickety about it because now I need the black pencil and it's disappeared. And I know I had it earlier. Oh. Okay. Is there a spare black in the back? Haven't got time to fuss. No spare black. That'd be right. I can't reach the graphite case. Okay, I don't know what I did with my black pencil. I can't feel it around me in the chair. Oh, this is not going well. I'm so sorry, people. Give me a minute. I'll try and get my graphite case. If I can pick that up through there, it'll be a bonus. Oh, come here. You know you want to fit through there. Oh. Right. I'm getting cranky now. I just dropped the graphite case. Oh. Right. Put this book up there. I would love to know what I did to my black Prismacolor. Right, give me 2 seconds. Ugh. Dang it. Ooh. Yeah, that's good, isn't it? Is you dizzy? Right, without fetching the prism case up. Bump, 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 bump. This case is supposed to have a black prismer and a black poly. Oh, we could be in luck. Yep, right. When I say I've got a pencil case for everything, I really mean it. Okay, so now we've got our black. Phew. That was a lot of work. Right. Okie dokie. Let's get down to business. And I've moved the camera and everything again. And I can't see chat. I'm sorry if I missed anything in chat. I've been busy fidgeting and getting this set up. Sorry. Alrighty. So back to our page at the front. I'm going to avoid using our really dark purples at this point, just because it's really narrow and it's really easy to go a step too far with the colour. So I know that pretty much everything on this side is going to be dark. And I am going to swing this book around a bit today. So once again, I'm imagining this to be kind of like flocked wallpaper, and that it's got some dimension to it. So I'm just trying to work out or map out where this might have more colour than somewhere else. And I was actually very tempted to do it in green, just because with the number of leaves and flowers we've had to colour in over the years, green is something that's very, very familiar to shade with for most people. But the reality is it shouldn't matter what colour it is. It's just working dark to light or light to dark. So trying to keep all my dark tones on the bottom section of everything. And to be honest, I don't normally work with my purple too much. So just have to see how it goes. And that's lovely, but I'm an Aussie. I don't want to know. Amazon's been very mean to us. We can't buy anything anymore. Well, we can still buy from Australia, but I mean, the Australian one just sucks. There's no other way for it. It sucks. But I'm very happy for everyone that can buy Amazon and get a good deal still. But as an Australian, I'm very disenchanted. Now where you've got like a little, this little V shape here in the top of the leaf, you can actually imagine that that could be a dip in there. So you can add a little bit more dimension to it. We'll do one side and see how we go. Because our whole aim of colouring this section is so that we can put that little black line under it and see if we can make it jump off the page again. Yes, and it definitely sucks, but what can you do? Just got to play the hand you dealt. Yeah, some of the shipping is really expensive. Hi, Katrina, and hello to anyone else that I might have missed. While I was busy mucking around and dropping things and not reading chat because I was busy focusing on what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah, Jamal, I agree. I just bought stuff from China, and it actually amazed me because I bought it Sunday of last week and then it arrived on Thursday, which was like 4 days later. It was the fastest shipping I've had from China in my life. Apparently they put it on like the express run or something. So yeah, I was stoked. I nearly fell over when they came to the front door with it. I hadn't even had time to panic about it yet. Because I'm a vapor, and just on the odd occasion, the government will decide to seize everything because they want to test what's in the liquid. So there's always that nerve-wracking. I've just spent more than half my wage, sort of thing. Is it going to come through customs? uh, so I didn't even have time to panic because it's like, it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks to get here anyway, so there's no point panicking too early. It's just like the later and later it gets, the more you panic. And I mean, 4 day turnaround was absolutely brilliant. So didn't even have time to, panic too much about it. Now I don't have to panic about it again for a whole year, pretty much. So that wasn't too bad. Only because they had a flash sale. I got everything for 30% off, so it cost me less to buy for an entire year than it cost me last time to buy for 6 months. Yeah, sometimes with places like China in particular, um, it depends on when their shipping containers filled. So, because it's all in little provinces or little like village type setups, so they don't ship until their containers are full. So if you're the first parcel in the container, then you're going to have a long wait. And if you're the last person whose parcel goes into the container, then you're going to have a short wait. It just depends on what's happening over there at the time. Oh, sounds good, Tara. I actually have vape envy, and it's not pretty. I do have vape envy. When I first started vaping, For those who don't have a clue what we're talking about right now, we're talking about electronic cigarettes, is what they've been dubbed. But way back in the beginning, before the marketing began, they were called personal vaporizers. So it produces a vapor, but I'm a vapor. Because it's just water vapor. So, anyways, back in the beginning when I was buying flavours, I'd buy some from China and stuff, and I couldn't taste them. Hey, Tazia! Yeah, no, I couldn't taste them at all, and I was just like, oh no, this is no good. Why can't I taste these things? And I ended up, posting in forums and stuff, I can't taste anything. What's going on? And they're like, well, what are you vaping? I'm like, decaying. Oh, that's your problem. You're vaping rubbish. And I was really happy with my so-called rubbish because it had all the medical clearances and stuff done on it. So to me, it wasn't rubbish. They've actually invested quite a bit of money to make sure it was safe. And it's clean, and do you know what I mean? Everything was right, but I couldn't taste it. And so I'd even go to like what we used to call vape meets, where we'd all get together and try out different people's equipment and go, oh yeah, what's this like? And I still couldn't taste anything, and people would be like, you've got to be able to taste that. For any vapor that's been around YouTube for a while, I think I would have to be the only vapor, or one of the very few vapors that could vape crab juice and survive. For anyone that remembers the crab juice challenge, because that was hilarious. That made people sick. No, Tara, the genuine decaying is actually really good. It's just there's a lot of cheap knockoffs. I know a lot of people diss decaying, but they do have all the certificates and everything. They're one of the few companies back in the day that had certificates for several different nations, including the EU. So they did do their legwork. So but anyways, it turned out after spending a lot of money and buying all sorts of flavours, I ended up taking them to my best friend's house one day. And she's like, but I'm not a vapor. And I'm like, yeah, but can you just try it? Just try it for me, What does this taste like? You tell me. And it was so funny because she's like, oh, okay, fine. So she tried it and she's went, yep, that's strawberry. What do you want to know about it? And I'm like, okay. And then she kind of figured out what was going on. I don't actually have a sense of smell. And unfortunately, vaping relies heavily on your sense of smell. And not having a sense of smell means I pretty much can't taste any of the vape liquids. I can taste menthol, which I really enjoy. And that's pretty much it. So, when I buy vape liquid, I just go out and buy like 30 bottles of menthol and I'm happy. But I can taste, things don't taste right though. I can taste RY4, and it's got like the dirty tobacco-y taste, but it's also metallic, and it's slightly sweet, but it's metallic to me. That's all I can taste. So it just depends on, I either get metal or I get sweet, but apart from that, I don't get anything. Sometimes you can get the dirty taste. And by dirty, I think the easiest way to explain it would be the difference between a cup of hot water and a cup of tea. Tea's got that dirty taste. So yeah, menthol it is for me. It's really funny. I had this one here, one flavour here. It was a swap. Someone swapped me for some menthol for it, and it was called banana nut bread, and I liked it just because it was sweet. And yeah, I think when my friend tried that, she's like, "Oh, that's really interesting." Because you get like the all the nutty flavor on the inhale, and you get all the banana flavor on the exhale, and I'm like, oh man, that sounds so good. Hang on, what? Hang on. Katrina, what did Tara do? Because my screen's saying Tara was timed out. What did you do, Tara? Katrina, Tara's one of us. What happened? Okay, now we're timing out Anne. Okay, not good. Katrina, you timed out Anne. And you timed out Tara. Yeah, there's lots of deletes going on. Sorry, Katrina, had to do it. Sorry, darling, I had to do it. No more spanner for you. Hey, Robin, honey. I know it might have been an accident, Katrina. It's just like, no, that's a no-no. No, I can't bring them back. They're timed out for however long Katrina's done it. That's the one, Heather. It's like, oh no, you hurt Mama Fruit Bat. That's not on. So I looked up and all of a sudden it's like, oh no, what's going on? Because I'm thinking, oh no, Tara's not going to cause any trouble. And so Anne, and it's like, oh God, no. Anne will hopefully laugh. She's like me. She laughs. Uh, Mama Fruit Bat better come back. Oh goodness, laughing so hard I'm choking myself. Oh no. Oh, that's too funny. Oh goodness. Where's Anne? How long did Anne get timed out for? Oh, man alive. 300 seconds. Jamal, the blue spanner is for our whatchamacallit, moderators. So if someone comes in and they're swearing or being abusive or whatever, then we can, whoever's got this blue spanner can actually stop them from upsetting out, disrupting the chat. Streaming live today, oh, might be an hour. I'm a bit slow. But I've only been live streaming for a few weeks. And it's only been like one live stream a week. I'd like to do a little bit more, but it was just getting set up. And to the last few streams I've done sitting at the table, which was quite hard on me. So today we're streaming from my chair. Hi, Anne, I'm so sorry. Katrina got demoted, if that makes you feel better. Do you feel vindicated? Actually, where is Mama Fruitbat? Where is she? Let's see. I can't read now. Oh, my eyes are full of tears from laughing. Uh, there, Mama Fruitbat, it should never happen again. Oh, Tara. Hey, this is a new way to get mods, isn't it? There you go, the two that got booted become mods. Hey, why isn't that working? Why isn't that working? Hang on a minute. That should work. There you go, Katrina. You're back, Katrina. See, I have a hard time saying WTF, but welcome aboard. I'm just as likely to say, I'm actually just as likely to spell out the acronym. Oh, too funny. Uh, well, Tara, if somebody's messing around and swearing and carrying on, or being abusive, then you get to click on the three dots beside their name and decide what to do with them. Oh, Anne, we gotta forgive her. Come on. We all know Katrina's one of us. She wouldn't do it on purpose. For a minute, I was worried it wouldn't let me re-promote her. It's like, oh no, come on, I should be able to do this. Uh, we normally have this sort of bedlam here, Tara, so don't panic. Bit of bedlam's good. But don't trust depends. Never depend on the depends. True story, they don't work. I got mine and I tested them out one day. Yeah, I was standing in a puddle real quick. Because it's just like, oh, maybe it's worth using them. Maybe it's just worth, letting things play themselves out, and then clean up afterwards, because that's what the depends are supposed to handle, isn't it? Yeah, well, no, that doesn't work. Still wound up standing in a bloody puddle. Yep. So yeah, don't trust the depends. They're only good for light accidents. They're not good for emergencies. Because yeah, just as if we don't have enough to deal with standard health issues. That's not good enough for my doctor. No, my doctor had to go one step further. And he says, oh, for some pain management, let's try you on an antidepressant, because they're quite good with fibromyalgia for dealing with pain. And as much as I hated the thought of it, I'm sorry, I'm moving the book around now because it's just getting difficult. But yeah, as much as I hated the thought of it, it's like, yeah, all right, if it's going to help, I'll try it. Not a problem. Give it a go. But on one condition, I don't want anything that's like an SSRI, anything at all that's linked to like serotonin reuptake inhibitors and stuff. I don't want a bar of them. And he's like, oh, why is that? And I was like, well, a lot of these people that go nuts and go on shooting sprees and stuff like that, just out of the blue, they're all on these SSRI things, and I don't want to go through that. I don't want that to be me. So he gave me this other thing, which is not an SSRI typically. It's like an NSSRI or something. It's just like one extra letter. And he gave me a product called Cymbalta. And I only took 28 of those tablets, and it was like a chemical lobotomy. It was terrible. And as much as it was all playing with my mind and messing me up that way, and that's taken a bit to get over, the other thing it did to me was it actually made me incontinent. And then he's denying that. He's like, oh no, had to have been something else. I said to him, well, I wasn't incontinent before I started taking them. And I did a bit of fishing around online and found a medical report thing where so many people had been, like, just a small subset of people became incontinent whilst taking it, and either 6 months later or 12 months later, 100% of them were still incontinent. And I was like, yeah, yippee, one more thing to add to the list. So it goes in the joys of fibro file, but yeah, could have easily been avoided if he listened to my wishes in the first place. So now I don't take any pain relief whatsoever unless I absolutely am at my wit's end. So then it tends to be something with a bit of grunt to it. Uh, oh, that's good, Robin. I'm pleased to hear it does help some people. My doctor just didn't tell me about the fact that it could make you incontinent. And unfortunately for me, I was one of the unlucky few that it made incontinent. And I have another saying now where because I noticed it messed with my brain. It messed with my brain chemistry um fairly harshly. You know how when you how do you put it? You know when you think inside your head and you can hear your own voice? You can sort of like hear your own you can almost hear your own voice when you're thinking. Well, I have a little saying now that's like either my mind is silent or I'm going deaf because I find it very hard to hear my thoughts. I can, you know, I don't know what it is. I just can't seem to verbalize my thoughts inside my head anymore. And the easiest way to deal with them is to actually speak them out loud, which gets quite comical at times. Didn't sleep for 3 days. Started having. Oh, that doesn't sound good at all, Michelle. I worked for Dad's and Anne's dad as well. That's awesome. Oh, that's good, Anne. Oh, okay, Laurie. Yeah, it kind of drives me nuts. I've gone from having a mind that just simply wouldn't shut up and give me an ounce of peace to having one that's just completely quiet now, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's a bit of a bother. It's not even like, am I losing my mind? It's like, man, I've already lost it. It's not there anymore. Now talking about losing things. Oh no, I found it. It's all good. Thought I'd lost the sharpener. I really don't know what to do with this purple on here. But just going to try and put a little bit of white on some of these things to try and safeguard it a bit. Oh, Michelle, I was doing the vibrating thing before I started taking medication. It's like an internal tremor, and you can't see it, but it's like your whole body's going and it's just going so fast and it's so fine, and it's like all your muscles in your whole body are just working overtime. It was just driving me to distraction, and you'd lay on the bed to try and relax and have a rest because you're exhausted, and it even though you're fully relaxed, it actually felt like your body was trying to hold you above the mattress, that it was working really hard to like physically stay above the mattress. It just feels like you're going to fall all the way through the bed, through the floor, and just continued falling. Oh, okay, and no, it wasn't doing any good for me at all. All the because I also have PTSD, and I never took any medication for that. Um, and what it was doing for me was it was dredging up all the stuff that I'd shoved into boxes and shoved to the deepest recesses of my mind, and it was bringing up all the crap, and it was like, here, look at this. I'm like, I don't want to look at that. Take it away. uh, Sorry, girls, I keep turning the book, but I want to get into these colours and see if I can put something down. Because what I noticed before on my test swatches is where I was going dark, I was going too dark and running out of room to put my highlights in. So I just want a little bit of dark just on these bottom bits. Oh, that's really good, Michelle. Oh, no sound. Was it no? Is it that there's no sound, or is it no sound, or is it I just stopped talking because I was focusing on colouring and reading? Because sometimes I do that. Has anybody else got sound? Excellent. Oh, that's good. Because yeah, sometimes I just go quiet because I can see that chat's rolling around on the screen, and I'm either working on my thing or I'm reading the screen. But yeah, I'm trying very hard to sort of strike a balance between trying to fill the void with sound, because at my end there is no sound. So it's a matter of trying to fill the void with sound and activity without sort of steamrolling chat, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to learn how to allow dead air so that chat can move along and you guys can chat and we can interact. And it's only been about 3 weeks, 3, 4 weeks, because remember, everywhere I was before that, I was girly pants. So after we did um the Colour Like Nobody's Watching thing, that's when I started seriously thinking about it. Um, so I started thinking about it seriously at that point, and then sort of ended up ordering different bendy phone thingies, like phone holder thingies, um, on eBay, waiting for them to come in, and then just sort of jumped on and gave it a go. So, still very new to the whole thing. No, Anne, because I don't think I'm in your group, sweetheart. I'm only in 2 Facebook groups at the moment, but I still consider myself a fruit bat. But I I'm not in your official Facebook group yet. I've only joined 2 Facebook groups because I'm not very good with Facebook. I joined um Reading with Pugs Facebook group, and I joined what's his name? Oh, I know her name. Hang on. I joined Jennifer Stay's group because um I was trying to watch her on YouTube, and then it turns out that she also does streams on Facebook. And to see the one on Facebook, you have to be a member of her page, I think. So I joined her groups for that. Oh, thank you so much, Anne. Yeah, Laurie, I get overwhelmed too. I'm only in two. I really only pay attention to the Reading with Pugs one, and I barely get a chance to go in there. And then it throws up all these as you go through, and you like a post or you comment on a post, then it starts giving you all these little alerts saying, or notifications saying, someone else just liked a post and a picture you're following, someone else that you're following just did this, or there was another comment on that, and the whole thing, I just sort of end up getting a bit overwhelmed. So I tend to stay away and then do a flyby trip once every week or two, and have a look at a few, comment on the few that I see, and do a thumbs up, because otherwise I get lost in there and I could be there for days. Ah, that's a good idea, Anne. Yep, Heather, that's fair enough too. I did create a Facebook page for this channel, which is quite hilarious, really. I created a Facebook page, and then I went, yep, that looks good. Yeah, I like that. I'm happy with that. What on earth do I need a Facebook page for? I've made one. Now what do I do with it? So, there was a thing where you could actually leave it like pending so it's not going live. And it's like, yeah, just pull it down because I don't need it right now, but at least I know one's there if I ever decide we need it. It's just a little bit too technical. Yeah, and I can understand that people do want it, and it's just at this stage I still not sure what they can really do with it. The only thing they can really do with your Facebook page is make a Facebook group. And I mean, I could have done that from my normal email, like my normal Facebook account. So yeah, I don't kind of get it. I don't follow everybody on Facebook, and I've never been a Facebooky type person. Yeah, I have about three Facebook accounts. Thinking, yeah, I've got exactly three Facebook accounts, and then I've got the Facebook page as an offshoot for Colouring Down Under. Um, yep. Well, see, I the only reason I got a Facebook page in the first place, and I don't have one. I don't even have a Facebook account under my real name. Um, the reason I got a Facebook page in the first place is really quite pathetic. Um, one of my brothers, his now ex girlfriend, um, wanted to play Farmville, and she wanted me to play Farmville so that I could send her free gifts on like the daily gift thing that they do on there. And I said to her, look, I have no interest in Facebook. I have no interest in the games. I just don't need an account. And she said, oh, well, I'll tell you what, I'll set up the account for you. And then she said, I'll even log in and send myself the gifts. So I don't know why she needed me anyway, because she could have just made any account name. We can't say much about IQ. And so so I was like, oh, I don't know. And she's like, what name shall we use? What name? And I was like, oh, what about Summer Smith? That'll do. So Facebook is like, is that your name really? Like, really? Are you sure that's your name? And it's like, yep, that's my name. That'll do. So that's how I got my first Facebook account. And I've only kept it because she and my brother had a child together. They broke up. She took off with the child, and the only form of contact I get with that child at all, or know what's going on in their lives at all, is now through Facebook. So that's the only reason I've kept that account. And then I started playing Facebook games. Well, some of the Facebook games you can have, you can't like scrap the game and start over. And it's like, oh, well, if we can't scrap the game and start over, we'll just get a new Facebook account. So you just get a new Facebook account and away you go, and you can still play the games. But unfortunately, on my first Facebook account, I try not to do anything on it, because the minute I do something on it, she wants to follow me around, and she's gone out of her way to contact all of my extended family and stuff like that. So one of my brothers actually said to me, oh, look, we're on Facebook all the time. Why don't you talk to us on Facebook? And I was like, he's like, have you got a Facebook account? And I was like, yeah, but I wouldn't be prepared to use that to talk to you. And so I had to set up a whole new Facebook account for him, so that we could chat without this other person following us around all the time. Oh, that's cool, Heather. I will actually, after, I know it's awfully rude of me, I'm not keeping up with all the chat. Um, I'm not keeping up with all the chat, but I will watch it back later, and I will read it and find out what was said and what I missed. I'm not ignoring you, I just can't read that fast. And the other thing I haven't checked in a while is, am I still on screen? Yeah, that's fair enough, Anne. That's definitely fair enough. I don't like Facebook. I really don't. It's too invasive. And sure, it's nice to catch up with people that you haven't seen in years, but then you've got to realize there's other people that you haven't seen in years that there's no way on earth you want to catch up with them, and you don't want them catching up with you either. I mean, I'll tell you the reason why I don't publish my name all over the internet. Um, but yeah, basically, when I was a kid, my mother hooked up with a pedophile. And she swore black and blue that he wasn't. But anyways, he was. And without going into everything that happened, basically he went to court. And my mum was so convinced that he wasn't a pedophile that she went to court and fought for him. And then she got him all the way down to a fine. And then she paid the fine. And anyways, we'll just skip over a good few years at that point. But what ended up happening was once we'd moved out, because we were in a rental home. Once we'd moved out, and the house came up for sale, he then went out of his way to buy the house. So not only was he not remorseful about what he'd done, was he now then wanted to go and live in that house where it all happened. So, and he went out of his way to purchase that house. So I'm not particularly keen on that person ever following me around the internet or having the opportunity to look in on my life. So I don't go banding my real name around. Oh, it's all good. It's all good, and they say these things is make you stronger. I don't know if it makes you stronger, but it certainly keeps you more switched on when it comes to caring for other people or watching other people, what's going on with other people. One of my friends one day was going out with someone, and I was getting in trouble. She was going mad at me. She was my best friend at the time, and she was going mad at me because she was going out with this guy, and this guy gave me the heebie-jeebies. And she was going out with this guy, and I was staying at her place at the time, and he'd put all the kids into the bathtub in the afternoon. Oh, yep, they can all just jump in the bath. He said, I'll watch them. And where the room I was sleeping in was opposite the bathroom. So I would go out of my way to find some plausible reason why I might have to pop into where I sleep and grab something or put something away or look for something. And I'd always be I thought I was being really subtle about it. Because I'd just do it at like random times, so it's like you never know when someone's about to come up the hallway. It wasn't like I stood there and watched or anything. And he actually complained to my friend that I was making him feel really self-conscious because it was like I was checking on him all the time. And within a few months of that, he was actually arrested and went to court with the accusation of pedophilia, and he pled guilty. So, there's, things like that where you sort of look and you go, well, nobody else was picking up on that icky vibe because nobody else had to deal with it or live through it. So, yeah, okay, I don't like the fact that I had to go through it, but I do like the fact that I can save somebody else going through it. So, it all comes down to how you look at things. I mean, it still messes me up now, but there's nothing I can do about that. But at least, you've got half a chance of helping somebody else that's going through something similar. Yeah, well, you can't help it, Laurie. It's sort of that ick factor becomes built in. It's like all of a sudden you'll know that that person's just not at all someone you want to hang around with. They just give off a creepy vibe. But they all have like patterns too. It's like patterns of behavior. So you start recognizing body language and behaviors long before you start realizing there's a serious problem. So your brains are already going, danger, Will Robinson, danger, danger. Yeah, Michelle, I mean, if you ask me, the only working through it you can really do is just coming to terms with what happened and understanding that, you're not to blame. But, aside from that, there's no getting over the scars. There's just it just becomes a part of the fabric that makes you you. Yep, there sure are, Heather. So yeah, like I've connected with people I went to school with and stuff like that through Facebook, and I trust that they're not going to sort of pass that information on to the person involved because I just don't. It's just I don't know. I mean, how do you put it? You just don't want to think that they could be secretly looking in on you. It's just like, do you know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, rather not have to that to worry about because there's no privacy in the world anymore. But like if I was to talk with say for example, if I was to talk with Anne via email and stuff like that, I'd have no problem with Anne having my real name. I just don't see the point of banding it all over the internet. Yeah, it never will, Michelle. You just gotta you just gotta learn not to park on the grass. That's the easy way to explain it. And I'll explain parking on the grass for you if you like, because that does make life a lot easier. If you if you've ever driven a car or you've ever had a lawn and you park your car on the lawn all the time, what happens to the lawn? Right, you get a nice big bald patch of grass where all the dirt grows. And if you keep parking on the grass, it's never going to recover. Right? The only way that that piece of lawn is going to recover is if you stop parking on the grass. And the same thing goes with your brain. So when you sit and dwell on all the bad crap that's ever happened in your life and you do it all day every day and it just consumes you because you can't think of anything else, that's what I call parking on the grass. So the less focus and attention you start to give it, the easier it is for your mind to replace those negative thoughts and bad experiences with new thoughts and experiences. So it's not that you're forgetting what happened, it's just that you're not dwelling on it anymore. And then you've got the chance to move on. So I call it as not parking on the grass. Yeah, and I've had people say to me before on here, um, what's your real name? And I do get kind of cagey about it, and it's nothing, I don't mean to be rude or anything like that, or secretive. It's just there are people out there that I just don't want them knowing my name. And then to top things off, of course, then my own sister went and stole my identity, didn't she? So yeah, if somebody with, somebody in your family can steal your identity, and they don't need to piece that many bits and pieces of information together to do it. There's nothing to stop somebody on the internet doing it either. So yeah, it's sort of like, the world's so messed up these days. Why add yourself? You might have nothing to hide, but you've got everything to protect. So, why put yourself at added risk by putting it all out there? Yeah, I'd like to trust in karma, but I don't know that I do. Because sometimes it seems like the only people that get anywhere in life are the people that are willing to step on other people. And I think that's wrong. And you shouldn't have to step on one another to get ahead. You should be able to, link hands sort of thing and pull each other up instead of pushing one person down to get the other one, like to make your own way up in the world. I know, Tara, it's an absolute nightmare. They do just a lot more effort, I think. Yeah, I think it's just a lot more effort. And the thing is that you come out of it with your head held high too, and you know that everything you've got, you did, like, you put in an honest effort to get there. So at the end of the day, you can actually sleep with a clear conscience. Yeah, Tara, I feel so sorry for you getting your identity stolen, darling. That is just the hardest thing to go through, because people don't think about it, too much until it happens to them. But the fact is that there's no one area to go to work out where they've done damage. So you've literally got to contact every company that you think that person could have used your name at, because there's no unified body to say, well, your name's been used here, here, and here, and here. So you've actually got to go and do the legwork yourself and figure out where they've used your name. It's not fun. It's not at all enjoyable. It just winds up being one great headache, because it's like, oh, so I'm supposed to ring every company in the country to find out whether or not my name's been used, or I've got to wait till it becomes a black mark on my credit rating and then try to dispute it. It's like, well, geez, that's it. Just wait till the damage is done and then try and figure it out from there. Hi, Kerry. Yeah, Robin, I'm sure it would be. Hi, Deb. Hi to anyone else that's joined in the meantime. Do the hi. Yeah, Robin, I think, as I said before, I think the biggest thing you can do is not park on the grass, sweetheart. Give your brain some time to mend those wounds and move on. I was actually really lucky with my PTSD because I didn't have the only addiction I had really. At the end of it was, I mean, I went through all the stupid teenage stuff, and the acting out, and like I had a serious drinking problem until the day I bought a car. But a car was a better escape for me than alcohol. So as soon as I had a car where I could actually remove myself from a situation, um, I stopped drinking because the car was a much better form of escape. So that's how I sort of bypassed the drinking problem because I was actually a blackout drinker when I was young. So yeah, I was lucky. I did sidestep a lot of the big issues that you can have with PTSD. But I still have issues today. I'm not saying I don't, but I modify my environment very carefully now. I monitor what I watch and what I read, and so it doesn't bother me as much. Yeah, and we'll just follow Amazon. Yeah, well, I'm funny with internet purchases as well. Um, for internet purchases, I actually have a Visa debit card, and then I either purchase through eBay and then pay for it through PayPal, or I pay for everything through PayPal no matter what, if it can at all be helped. Um, so that you've got the PayPal protection. But because I have a Visa debit that is specifically for purchasing online, it's not attached to any other bank account. But I can add money to it at any time. I just pay money into it, and then if there's ever any issue, I can either make a claim through eBay, I can make a claim through PayPal protection, and then if all else fails, then I can try to use my Visa protection. And if somebody does, what I do is I say I do a purchase online and it costs $5. So I take my $5 purchase and I take my card and I pay $5 onto the card, and then that's it. There's no more money in the card. But if I do notice that someone's trying to tap that card at all, without my authority, then I can just have that whole card deleted and have a new card issued, so that there's never anything in there for them to take. Oh no, Kerry, I hope you feel better by the time you get to go camping. You'll have to take a ton of Kleenex with you. Yeah, some of it is just simply you've just got to protect yourself. Because unfortunately, we live in an age of entitlement where people think they should be able to just come and take what you've got because they live in a poorer area or a poorer country, or just because they can, you know. So I'm terribly cautious. I don't even do online banking. Oh, thank you. I'm sort of happy with that one side. I haven't done the little white dots yet, but we'll play with the black now because that was the actual reason we're here. So I'm going to turn it around. I'm trying to think which way I'm going to turn it. So what we're doing is we're going... Now I don't know what I did with my ruler. There it is. Right, so once again, when it comes to the shading, our light's all coming from the top down. So if you look at it with your ruler even, you can see where all that part there needs to be light. So we can adjust those shadows later. But what we're going to do is if our light's coming from the top down, well, I can see that this part here automatically is underneath. So I can just put my black pencil along there. And this should, hopefully... So that's an under piece as well. So this little bit of black pencil should hopefully start to pop things out. So, oh, hang on. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Hang on. If we zoom in. Right, wrong way. Go that way. Ha! Let me have a look at... Can I see on the phone? Where's my book? I can see the N. I don't want the N. I want over there. Oh boy, we're really zoomed in, aren't we? Okay, so all I'm doing... Sorry, I should have zoomed in earlier. All I'm doing is I'm going along this bottom edge, not on the picture, not on the piece I coloured, but actually on the black paper itself, and just putting down a line of black pencil so that it's slightly darker than the printed black page. And it's looking really washed out on the screen, so you can really see where that black line is going at the moment. It's not that washed out here. Let's see if I can show you what it looks like here. So the purple on that's even darker than that. Let's see, where's this? Is that any better? No. Try turning that off. Now we're sitting in the dark. Now I'm sitting in the dark. That purple is not showing up very well when it's zoomed in. So all we're doing is all of these things. See, like we can use our ruler if we're not 100% sure where our shading's going. We can use our ruler and say everything from this point here all the way down is going to be in shade. So if you're not 100% sure of where to put your shading, you can always use a ruler because light always travels in a straight line until it hits something and bounces off. So, and I'm on the wrong side of this page to do this. And am I on there or not? Oops, I missed again. So you can see where I put the black line. So just here somewhere, according to the camera, just here somewhere I can go a little bit closer to the edge. And that's all you need to do around all the bottom sections. I'm going to try and zoom out a bit so it's not quite so close. Oh, I'm getting better at using zoom. So see the difference now? Night, Anne. Have sweet dreams. Night, Michelle. Have a great night. I hope you both have a good rest. Just on the Melody, where on... Hi, Melody. I didn't see you come in. Sorry, Dale. What I'm doing is just on the black section of the paper only, I am just applying a thin black pencil line. And it's just that the pencil is a little bit blacker than the paper. Because black is one of those things that's never really black. It's always varying shades of grey. So I'm just putting a tiny smidge of black on the underneath sections of the paper to help pop that out so that it looks like a shadow. Because you won't see it on the page. The camera at the moment is showing it up really well, what I'm doing. But when you actually see the page in real life, you won't normally see that black line at all. But your mind will pick up that tiny shade difference and make it look 3D and pop it out of the page for you. So that's my colouring technique that I call black magic. And that when you're working on black paper, that will give you extra pop, and people would be looking at it going, how did you do that? And they won't actually see the black. When they're looking at your colouring in, they won't actually see that black line at all because they'll be too busy looking at the bright colours. But your brain will actually look at it and go, I detect a small amount of shadow there, and your brain will then add dimension because it sees shadow. Because our brains are pretty powerful little things, and they do all sorts of funny tricks to our eyes that we don't realise. It's like we're completely blind pretty much for, I think it was something like 3 hours of a day. It was quite a fair whack of time that we're completely blind for. Because every time you look, say you're looking around a room, if you were looking here and then the next minute you're looking over there, your brain doesn't actually see the transition as you go across. It goes from there, it blacks all of this middle bit out and then shows you this bit, and it happens so quickly that you don't even notice it. So you might have a little bit harder. You might have a little harder time on black paint. You just have to make sure that your pencil was darker than the page. I'm just using Prismacolor, but I do have like a Faber-Castell, like the Polychromos black as well. I just tend to find that the Prismacolor is a better black to use normally. But see, I was using, long before I started buying the Prismacolors to colour in on paper, like to colour in books and stuff, I was buying the black to, wish I could get that in the right place. I was buying the black to do like pupils in people's eyes and stuff when I was drawing, so to get the depth. So I've had the black pencils around a lot longer than I've had the coloured pencils around. Yeah, so if the paper was red, Heather, you could use a slightly darker red. It's just the most stunning on black because your eyes just can't see it. People just look at it and believe they're looking at a black page. And because all the pretty colours are quite distracting, they don't actually notice that there's any black on the page at all. Whereas on a red page with a slightly darker red, you'd notice it. So on a black page, and that's why I call this one Black Magic, because it's just so much fun, and then you get people looking at it going, oh, wow, how did you make it stand off the page like that? And they think it's all in the shading. It's really not. It's just a little black line underneath. So even we can do this doing it on the camera is really quite handy because the black's looking a little bit flashed out, so I can actually see where I haven't applied any black line on the camera. On the TV screen. I'll probably just have to go live from now on just to finish these pages. Get a little bit around there, a little bit. So there you go. So we can pull out a little bit. Now to zoom out. Zoom. No, other way. That's where I get confused. To zoom out, no, to zoom in, you've got to go this way, and to zoom out, you've got to go in. So we've got one side done. Just trying to move the camera a bit. And then, which light did we kill before to get a better look at it? Oh, it might not have been that one. Hang on. There's one light before we knocked out. No, we can't see quite how dark it is. It's all just flashed out. Yes, it's just flashing that purple out. I don't know how to stop it. Yeah, Heather, it is. It's I think it's just tricky. And as I said before, though, this isn't the only place you can use it. This is because I'm imagining that's like a flocked wallpaper. But if you I left a bookmark in there. If you're doing like rocks like this, and you've got like a lot of black background, you can just put the the little dark line underneath your rock to help pop your rock out of the page. You're welcome, Tara. Have a lovely night, darling. So you can use it for something like rocks, anything that you think is touching a table or like touching a surface. And we'll go back to the first one that we were doing for those that missed it at the beginning. So on this picture, and where's that pencil? Nearly lost that black pencil again. So on this picture here, I imagined that the branches and the wattle were, and the pine cones were all somehow sitting on the table or creating a shadow on the table. And we did have much better shots at this at the beginning, because we zoomed in or got it at a point where it wasn't all flashed out. Which I don't know how to tilt it now so that it's not flashed. I wonder if I can tilt it that way maybe. Does that flash it out more or less? I've got to work out how to get this lighting done so it's not all flashing out. But anyways, at the very beginning of the video, for those of you that want to go back and watch it, you can, there's a close-up of here where I've got the black and a close-up of here where there's no black. This book here is Decorative Designs, The Gift of Colouring for Grown-Ups. And I haven't done much in it. It's got, like, I think that's the first picture I did in this book. So, yeah, just a little mandala. I haven't done a lot in this book. Yeah, sure, Melody. It's Decorative Designs. No, I don't know anything about any of that, Heather. I've just got the mobile phone and I hit go live and I've got it in a bracket. That's as exciting as I get. And I've got another button. There was an exciting button here that, look, see, this is where we start our day. Oh, it's not doing it now. Why is it not doing it now? It does it every other time. When you don't want it to do it. When you don't want it to do it, the phone actually shows you my ceiling. Oh, awesome, Heather. Yeah, well, if you've got this book, that's where the picture is. Like I said, I haven't done much, and there's not much in this book you can apply the technique to, really, without getting really fussy, because some of these pictures are so tiny. The details in here are really, really tiny. So I haven't done a great deal in this book. But I did have a lot of fun with this page here. So, I mean, look at how tiny this stuff is. It's just ridiculously small. So you couldn't really use the technique in there. Not unless you came at it, I suppose, with a really super fine liner or something and you had the eyes of a hawk. Yeah, sure, Melody, no problem at all. Let's zoom right out and we'll do a flip through. Because a lot of the pages in here are really tiny. Zooming out means pinching in. Oh, what's it done to me? Hang on. Stay with me. The phone is now saying something. Hang on. Actions. No, I don't want actions. Sorry. I had to take it out of the mount to read what the thing had said, because now I can't see. Oh, come here. I'm trying to tilt it without turning it off. Right. Okay. Zoom in. Zoom out should be push it in. Is that all the way zoomed out? Okay. Hang on. I'm playing with the phone. Zoom out. All the way. Okay. Get rid of the cardboard. Give me 2 seconds, darling. Hang on. I will endeavour to move the whole bracket around. That didn't work, did it? Oops. Oops. One wide hit the deck, but that's okay. I'm trying to get this up. And we'll use the computer and we'll go old school clunky like we used to do. Alrighty, we're fully zoomed out. We need some sort of light source. Okay. So you should be up a little bit higher now to cover it. We'll get these books out the way. For those of you that aren't aware, I'm actually sitting in my recliner chair today, so everything, absolutely everything, is in my lap, or now at the moment being stacked up beside me. So we're just trying to get it up and out the way without it all falling down. Make sure all the prisms are secure in a pencil case. And then we'll try and look at the screen. Why is the screen still saying we're zoomed right in? I put the phone way, way up in the air. Right. I'm working on this flip through for you. So this is the book. And we're still looking all flashed out. Let me try very gently. Very, very gently. Well, that was just sheer luck. I managed to pick up the other light without the cord coming out of the socket. Now all we've got to do is get the thing to stay on the pole. Because it doesn't like staying on the pole, unfortunately. This little clip-on light's terrible. I might show it to you in the end. Okay, we're going to try opening the book and see if we can get it to stop flashing out. See, if you're working on white paper, they've done the same thing with the black in here, but they've just done it on the white, because both sides are still white. But they've just used the grey to help pop it out. This book's going to flash out all over the place. And today's tripod is simply a mop handle with one of those bendy things tied around it. And it's weighted down to a cereal tin. Because I had a collector's tin of Weet-Bix. So it's all anchored to that and it's just sitting on the table beside me. So I'll move this over and my screen is now going reload, reload, reload. I don't know if we're live. This is not good. Okay, so I'm going to keep trying to do the flip through. So sorry I can't get any more height for you on this thing without having to move the whole setup. Maybe, can I get it to focus any better? I don't know. But yeah, it's all really teeny tiny. like all the details in, say, like this picture's really tiny, so I haven't done much with it. There's some things that I just love the concept of, and other things that I actually want to work on. But I like all the filigree work in here. I always feel my fingers are too big. I like all the filigree work in here. But, you know, I might end up coming back at that one day with paint. I didn't mind this picture because this one here, because it was easy for me to get detail in there. Because one of the problems I have with chronic fatigue is that my prescription for my glasses keeps changing. Seriously, I went and got fitted for glasses. I went and did an eye test. They made up the glasses. I went back in, I think, 2 to 3 days to pick up the glasses. I brought them home and I put them on because I was so excited because I wanted to read a book that I had upstairs, and my eyes just kept doing this while I was trying to read the book. And I took them back to the optometrist. I said, no, this prescription's wrong. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, so it takes a little while to get them. And I'm like, no, they're very wrong. So he ended out putting me back in the optometrist chair thing and retesting my eyes, and he said my eyes were now coming up for a completely different prescription. So there was no real point in spending heaps of money on glasses because it only took them 3 days to change from one prescription to another. So it was just a waste of money. So I just use those little readers, and depending on how my eyes are on a set day, depends on either how many readers I'm wearing or what strength they need to be. So this is probably the slowest flip through on earth. I believe you can still buy this book online. But they're just basic mandalas. They're all just very tiny. Oh, so we'll do this page first, rather than moving the book. Oh, okay, Heather, that sounds cool. I was actually looking at whatchamacallit, an Archon stand. I haven't planned on using anything at all on those tiny areas, Melody. It's one of those books that I bought, you know, when you first start colouring, and I'm still kind of in that mode. It's like, oh, I can buy it, and it's only $5. Oh. So I buy it, and then I sort of look at it later and go, yeah, what are you going to do with that now? So I haven't actually made any plans, but I will probably end up taking this paintbrush, which is reasonably tiny, and attacking it with the paintbrush. But yeah, it'll just be a one-day thing, you know. One day when I'm feeling super keen and I want to sit and do all this tiny little painting, I don't know, it could be a good place to test out my ink tents when I finally buy them. But you buy these books and you think, oh, I want to colour that. And then the reality of colouring it is something totally different. And it just depends on what your perception is at that point in time. That's what I was explaining to the girls the other day, or last week, is when I first bought what was it, Secret Garden. I was so chuffed. And I wanted to do such a good job. And I ended up having to go out and buy a big magnifying glass like this. I don't know if you've seen them. They used to be on a string and you wear it around your neck. But I had to buy a magnifying glass to get into all those tiny pieces. And now I sort of look back at it, and like I never even finished the page. I did hours and hours and hours and hours of work on it, never finished the page. And now I sort of look back at it and think, oh my God, what on earth were you thinking? Especially after seeing how other people do it. It's just like, oh, we'll just colour over the whole thing and then we can just add little bits in here and there. So I thought that was quite funny. But it just took me forever and ever to do that. And I never got round to finishing the page just because it's so much work. But then I watched, and that's where you'll see that there's been a change in the way I colour it. Like in the way I colour in general. I'm trying to be a little bit more loose in the way I colour in. And what I'm trying to do is that I was watching a painter. He's actually a painting instructor called Stephen, I want to say Bowman. Stephen Bowman. He's on YouTube, and I think it's BAUMMAN, or is it one M and two N's? It's something like that. You can find him in my subscription list. Like the people I subscribe to. But he does painting courses, and with a lot of these art teachers that are out there and they're trying to sell their courses, if you pay attention to some of the things they say while they're promoting something, or they're giving you like a bit of an intro to who they are, you can pick up little bits and pieces. And one of the things that he said that really struck home for me was that the thing you need to focus on, like the area where all your detail needs to go, is on the focal point. And you don't have to worry about putting so much detail everywhere else. Or like you can use less detail everywhere else. Because if you go overboard with detail everywhere else, it can start to detract from your focal point. But at the same time, if you've got all the detail in the world that you want around your focal point, and that's where people's eyes are drawn to, their brains will actually fill in the rest of the picture for you with all the detail that you'd normally put in there without you having to do the work. And it's like, hey, that's pretty tricky. You mean to say I've been putting all this detail into every square inch of my paper for so long, and I don't have to do it? Awesome. So yeah, pick your focal point. Make sure that your focal point's very clear, and then you can just work on your focal area and slack off a bit on the rest of the page. So everything doesn't have to be quite so highly detailed. Sorry guys, I wish I could have had the camera up high for you today. It was just, when I started it was too high for what we wanted to do today. So I lowered it. And by lowering it the way I had, it meant that I could see what was on the screen of the phone. So I could see if we were in frame. Now I can't see if we're in frame or not. So I've got to wait for the delay on the computer. I don't have a microphone, a separate microphone or anything yet, Heather. At the moment I'm sort of okay. I'm on Centrelink. I'm on a disability pension, because that's the reality of my life. so I get a very limited income, and I have to make decisions about what I like, very careful decisions and careful considerations about what I do with my money. So I am currently debating whether or not to buy the Archon stand, and then the laptop decided to, like the HP laptop thing, HP decided to put a message on my screen saying that 2 days ago it came up on my screen saying that my device is nearing the end of its useful life, and offering me to trade in the machine, and they'd give me a discount on another machine. And I don't know if that was just sales hype or what, but it's kind of got me thinking, do I go out and spend $150 odd on an Archon stand, or am I going to have to go out and spend like $450 on a laptop? So, yeah, it's just at the moment, because the laptop's throwing up warnings, it's just like, oh no, now what do you do? So I can't do it all at once. And it even got that way to a point where last night I was actually considering getting rid of my home Wi-Fi. Because if I got rid of the home Wi-Fi and just went with my mobile for a few months, that would save me $90 a month. And at $90 a month, it'd take me, 5 or 6 months in order to have the money to buy the laptop. And then I'd have to go through the hassle of getting the Wi-Fi put back on. And I'm not 100% sure I want to do that, even though that is probably the most economical way to find money to save. It's just that my home Wi-Fi comes with like free calls around Australia, so it doesn't cost me anything to call mobiles or no, it costs me to call mobiles from the home phone, but normal phone numbers I can call anywhere. So I'm sort of debating, which bill I can eliminate to make the goals that I want. So it might just be a simple case of, instead of saying, oh, the book's only $5, get it, it might just be a case of saying, well, no, do you want a book or do you want a laptop? So, I don't know. But yeah, once I sort of get, a little bit of money behind me, then the question is, well, where does it need to be? Where do I need to use that the most? And you can pretty much guarantee if there's something you actually want and you finally get the money for it, the minute you get money, something else always comes up that goes, well, you might want it for that, but you need it for something else. So yeah, sometimes you just got to be a grown up and suck it up. So I'm working on things. I have big plans, and you know, we will upgrade the stand. And that's what I'm saying. It's just like, do I spend the 150 on the stand, or do I say that's 150 towards the laptop? So just let me stew on it, and I will stew on it for as long as I can stand it until I have to strike out and make a purchase. But don't worry, I'm really inventive. So that's what I say. At the moment, I've got my Velita mop handle with one of those springy, lazy arm phone holders holding it up. And I've got that because this one's like this is the second one. This is the one that came from China. It's like a strip of black licorice. So it's really flat. It's not a round one. It's like a flat strap of licorice. And so I've got that wound round and round the mop handle, holding the phone. So the mop handle's what's making it so that the phone can't go bouncy bouncy. So don't worry, we will sort it out. See, I really like this picture. This is one of my favourite pictures in the book, and I can just see so many possibilities for it. It looks like an oil slick. Do you know what I mean? Like you could see all these different colours sort of weaving in and out, like when you get oil on water. I just think that could be so pretty. And that's big enough to colour in too. So, I mean, but I look at things like that and I was like, oh, excited. Very excited. And then I get worried about putting colour down on the page because the minute you put colour on it, then you're locked into one solution. I'm not very good at being locked into one solution. All right, Heather. Oh, Heather, I see. Hang on. I was just reading it. Yep. It is. It seems to be one of those years for everybody. It's not much you can do about it. You just sort of got to keep working on, just keep on keeping on and see what you can do. But see, like I used to, I used to be never home pretty much. I used to pack the dog up and take the dog with me wherever I went. Like I'd go to work, I'd stop into someone's house on the way home, and then I wouldn't make it home again. So then I'd be like, oh, I've got to go home and fetch the dog, and I can come back. So yeah, never home, and so now I'm always home. So this was just, like streaming for me was one way of, getting out of my house and enjoying like being more interactive with everyone's company because I've been enjoying your company for years and I just haven't been well enough to do anything apart from sort of leave messages on YouTube and stuff. So now I can actually give back to the community a bit and hopefully we can have fun. And most of my books, because I'm a bit on the tightwad side, and of course I'm on the very low energy side as well, most of my books I haven't done much in because I just don't have the energy. This is the world's longest flip through, girls. Oh, we're cool. That is so awesome, Heather. That is awesome. I couldn't believe it when Dee Dee said she was going to look at my channel. She was going to look at my channel, and then she said she followed me, and I was like, oh! She's like the queen of streaming. She was around doing ColourTube long before anybody else. So that's it. That's the book. Yeah, it's very teensy wincy. But see, look, they even on the back, they've just done straight colouring because it's so tiny. I mean, if you tacked it with gel pens or something, it'd be fine. But it's very tiny. Oh, Chris Chen, I've been watching her for years. I love Chris and I love her work. And I just go, oh man, I can do that. I'll never be as fast as Chris. I still can't figure out how she is that fast, but she's incredibly fast, and I think some of it's just fast forwarding and good editing where she doesn't show where she's picking up one pencil and the other. Heather, you've done so well. And it's a real boost, isn't it, when you look at these other people and they're like um they're people that amaze you and inspire you, and then and you get a little bit of recognition and it's like, oh wow, it's like, oh, I feel so blessed. Yeah, Heather, look, I had when I was a kid, I coloured in, and that was great. And then when I was, I don't know, somewhere between 18 and 20, somewhere around there, maybe even 22 even, um, I was lucky enough to buy my big set of Derwents. And yes, I do have some of Millie's books. In fact, I've got, I think, all of Millie's books. Um, but whatchamacallit, when I got my Derwents, I was very upset because they didn't behave the way I expected professional pencils to behave. Mind you, I'd never seen any professional pencils in use because that was before it was all over the internet sort of thing. And but I was really disappointed with my Derwent Artists. They were still lovely pencils and all, but they just didn't do what I wanted them to do. Oh, okay. Well, here's one. This is Animal Kingdom by Millie Marotta. I had lots of fun a couple of weeks ago doing this because Jennifer Stay showed me that you could paint with gel pens in one of her tutorials. Um, so I found a box of 6 gel pens at the post office for $15. I was like, oh, that's a whole box full of fun. So I came home and that's what I painted with my gel pens. This book I actually I got this book on eBay, and it was like World of Books or something they're called, and it was supposed to be a brand new unused book. So somebody somewhere is going to be super excited to see their artwork on my stream, because when I got this book, it was supposed to be unused, unmarked, no annotations, nothing. And there's, scribbled right through the book. It's just, So, like, these came pre-done. So I've gone over this butterfly now with gel pen. But, these pages came pre-done. So, in this page here, I was playing with Crayola twists and just taking notes, but all this green stuff was already in the book. So thankfully the company that I did buy it from on eBay gave me a refund and said, you may keep the book. So now it's a place where I just test things out. So like this little dude here, he had, when I got him, he had a black trunk, and that was all he had on him, was a black trunk. So, and this one's just all done in Crayolas. So I coloured him in, and then I decided I was going to try and shade him grey underneath. And then I wasn't so sure that I could pull that off, so I stopped. So yeah, I've got the grey here and a little bit of grey under his belly, around the leaves and things, but I wasn't quite sure I could pull off the shading, so I stopped. I don't do a lot in Millie. do a lot in Millie. I just, they're good if you want to colour in something but you don't want to do much. So you could sit down and just pick out all the pink flowers. Or you could just do the orange flowers. And it could just be that thing you grab when you don't know what you want to do, but you want to do something. So, yeah, Melody, I would rather colour, the funny thing is, I would rather colour every single little detail in these before I'd look at a page where I get overwhelmed and go, oh, what do I do with that? Because at least with these I can isolate it. So, and that's what this book lets you do. So you can isolate something and say, right, all I want to do is every palm leaf, and I want them all to look kind of like this, and pick your way around the page. And as we look around the page, there was only one. So do you know what I mean? It instead of going, what do we do with this bit here and there's that over there, you only need to pick one element. And once you know how to do one element the way you want it, then you go, okay, well, that's done. Well, next we might do these, and we might turn these little lumpy things into flowers, and I want them in orange. So you can pick your way around and do all of those all over the place, wherever they happen to show up. Look, they're down in his feet even. And because you're attacking it in one little bit at a time, it's not so bad. Whereas I look at Kirby Rosan's and I get totally lost because it overwhelms me. So I prefer this to say, like, to Kirby, and yet I find the Kirby pictures much more inspiring and breathtaking to look at. It's just when you go to work on them, you go, oh no, now what do I do with that? But yeah, these are just fun. I don't think I've done anything else in this book. I really don't. See, look, it even came good with scribble. So no, I don't think I've done anything else in here. It's just somewhere to play. Oh, the mouse is going. Quick, quick, catch it. No, I haven't touched Animorphia yet. Not touching Animorphia yet. Oh, although I did. I lie. I did touch Animorphia. The only thing I've done... Give me a minute, it's a bit of a stretch, because my books all fell down this morning, and I haven't picked them back up. Oh, knocked the light off again. Put the light back on. So this is my Animorphia, and the only thing I've done in the whole book, because I was like, oh, what do I do with that, is I'm working on the All the Answers page. So I figured that was as good a place as any to start testing out how you use this book. So I started out doing like the foliage, and then I sort of, I'd just come back and pick on like one little character at a time. Yeah, it's a start. But I haven't done, like, the rest of the entire book is blank. Because I'm all good. I'm all good with the doodle thing, right? The doodle thing's fine. But then how do you have a colour scheme in there? It's the actual, how do I carry this lovely picture on this side and then take it through, and yeah, there's something going on in my head where my head goes, oh, the art's amazing, and you could look at it for hours, but then when you go to actually colour on it, it's like, how do you do that without wrecking it? And what is each bit? Mythomorphia, yeah, I like, oh, I like Imagimorphia, because I've only got the first two. Yeah, Debs, you never know though, you might surprise yourself. I think it takes weeks to do a picture, and I didn't grab any finished stuff out. And I'm just looking at what's beside me, and I don't think I've got any finished stuff here. Um, yeah, I don't even have one book, I don't think, that's got finished stuff in it. That's quite funny. Um, but because I normally have something sitting around here. Um, but yeah, you might surprise yourself, darling, because you sort of you got to look at it in the long term. We don't. It's not a race to see who finishes the book first. It's something to do that we're going to spend years on. So, I mean, they're not going to keep producing adult colouring in books, I don't think, for year after year after year. I think that they'll slowly phase us out, but at least then we still have stuff in our stockpile to turn to. So we'll be set for life. Oh, Heather, that list of 10 was so impossible. And like, if you could only take 10, then you need to pick your 10 favorites. It's not and what's your favorite today might change tomorrow. I mean, when the coloring in books first started coming out, I was stoked with all the $10 ones you could buy at the supermarket in the shopping aisle, like in the at the checkout. I was stoked with those. I thought they were great. They had all this fine detail, and it's like, oh, you get real technical and do all this stuff. And then you get them and you go, well, that's nice, but then they bring out something like Minuet Devon Hur, and you look at it and you go, now that's exactly what I've been looking for. That's the book I've been looking for all my life. Exactly what I imagined as an adult colouring in book. It's like a book that you would have had as a child, but someone's come and put in all the extra detail that was never there before, but you used to imagine as a child, and you could just sit there and go nuts. I mean, I haven't even coloured in my copy because I just spend so much time looking at it. It's just too nice. And if it wasn't $40, I'd have probably had a crack at it by now, or I probably would have got a couple. But yeah, I'd love more books like the Minuet book, and I would like more books that have less detail. Like, um, 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 I wouldn't even mind if it was more books in this size, but with less detail. Because, like, even this little tiny picture here took several hours. So if they could make a picture with about that much detail that fits in a book about that size, that's enough for me. Because, that's something you could complete in a few hours or in a day and move on and do something else. You get these other books where they're big and they're busy, and it's going to take you a month. I mean, when I say 2 weeks to do a page, I just mean in a standard out book, where the art quality is probably not much better than this, and not it's got like some bits of detail, but not overly detailed. You start looking at some of the really beautiful books that we can buy, and they've got so much detail in them that it'll take you forever. If you wanted to do it, sit down and put every ounce of shading and detail and skill that you've got into it, it's just going to take you forever. I can't say that I recognise Selena Fennick's name. I've only just learnt about Heather Valentin. Like, so I've seen all the books around and stuff, but I like Heather Valentin's work because Heather does what I'm talking about. You know, a reasonable sized book without being overly big, with really pretty whimsical pictures without excessive detail, that you could literally sit down and just go at it and have a great time and have it done, you know, within a couple of days. I'm not sure what Selena Fennick has produced. Sorry, Melody, but I will look her up. Because unfortunately, with budget constraints for me the way they are, I actually stopped looking at colouring in books. Oh, okay. Well, that's even better. Yep, I love Eerie. Eerie is gorgeous. I like Hannah Carlson. Yeah, I'll have to look her up, Melody, because that would be really good. So I will look her up, and yeah, there's just what happened here was we've got a shop called Big W, the big what, and Big W started doing clearance prices. I believe I got this from Big W, or oh, hang on, this one actually. I think I got this one at Kmart. Either way, it was $5. So because they started doing like the big clearance of books, and they were getting like all my Millies, all the Millie Marauders. I've got 2 copies of most of those. Um, but I bought them all on sale for $5. Oh, Debs, that's great. I love the idea of the free downloads. I just don't have a printer. So, yeah, no, I don't own a printer. So free downloads are great and much appreciated. And I believe that, you know, for all those people that have a printer, it's going to work great. I just don't have a printer. So, it's another thing on my want list, but I'll get there. See, the problem is that I've got expensive wants. That's what it is. So I actually, for those of you that joined me when I said I got the tripod, I bought a selfie stick that turned into a tripod. Well, that got returned last week because it wasn't doing what I needed it to do. It was falling over all the time, and I had weights on it, and I'm thinking, like, you know, they wanted $60 for it in the store, and I ended up getting it for $50, but it was just it was a lot of money for something that wasn't functioning the way you believed it would. So I returned that, and I had $60 in my pencil fund, so I figured that's like 110, and then I threw a little bit more money in there, and I'm thinking, oh, that gets us really close to buying a an Archon stand for the phone. So yeah, Debs could certainly do that, but then you wouldn't want to print them on photocopy paper either. And then you've got to convince them to let you put your card stock through their machines, and that's not going to happen. Because they'll be like, oh, I know, I don't think you can do that. You'll have to use our paper. Yeah. You can only use our paper in our machine. Alrighty, girls. Not a worries, Melody. I'm about to sign off for the afternoon. So, I hope you all had fun. I really should have something on this pillowcase just because it's such a ugh thing. But I hope you all had fun. So ta-das. Actually, do you know who we haven't met? Let's see if we can find him. Where is he? Come here. Up. Up. Come see me. Come see me. Oh, hello. Hello. Do you want to lay down? You lay down. Oh, yeah. So this is my pooch. And he's been very good again today. You're all more than welcome, girls. I'm pleased you had a good time. I will watch it back later and check the chat. And until next time, which I hope will be, I am going to try and stream at least once a week. But we'll see how we go. And I would also like to try and get a review done for all you Aussie girls of some fantastic little pencils I buy from the reject shop. Now, I say they're fantastic, but they're also a lot of hard work and very frustrating. So I'll do a review and explain those for you because I think they're, for what they are, they're expensive, but on the whole, for what we pay over here, they're a bargain. So until next time, thank you all for coming along. And I will see you next week. Yeah, this is my boy. He's 12 now. And I don't think we can get him to back up close enough. What's this? What's this? Did we get him? What's this? Oh, he picked his face up too far. We tried. Alright, girls. Well, next time I'm taking the camera down now so I can see where the stop button is, because we've worked out where that is. Have a great week. I'll try and stream earlier if I can, but earlier in, how do you put it? I will definitely stream next week, all going well and to plan. And if I can sneak a stream in somewhere else in the afternoon for us Aussies, I will certainly give that a go, especially while this camera thing over the lap's going to work for me, because that's the most sustainable. But until then, everybody, have fun, be good, and make the most of every single day. Even if it takes work, just find something in that day to enjoy. All right. Bye, all. See you next time. Oh, and thank you to our mods too. Even the ones that accidentally start doing things.